Beardy and the Beast Media Club.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. This is a placeholder intro song.
Ho ho ho! Merry Cagemas! And thank you for joining us for Beardy and the Beast Media Club Christmas Special, a full spoiler discussion into a piece of media. We will lead you to discover these spoilers like oh so many Christmas miracles. As always, if you enjoy what we do, please gift us to your family and friends or join the conversation in the comments or at our Discord. My name is Drew, and he's not my real dad, Devon. Today we'll be discussing 2000's Christmas comedy, The Family Man. So, Devon, was there an orange at the toe of the stocking or just a piece of coal?
Um, I think there was an orange in the movie. I in the stocking in the movie.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't think there was any oranges in the movie. I enjoyed the movie. Uh, I think once I separate the entire craziness of the premise, because I think it's kind of going for like a wonderful life type idea, without the suicide attempts.
Yeah, it was definitely trying to do something a la Wonderful Life or uh, Christmas Carol.
Yeah, but the part that I have to, of course, forget is like just the premise of taking someone, putting them into a life that they apparently experienced for 13 years with absolutely nothing, and not have everyone go, "Why are you like not being put into a mental hospital right now?" It takes a bit to get your head around that, and I'd almost prefer an amnesia plot to something like that, just because at least I can connect amnesia. I can make sense out of why you're not remembering everything. But
Well, that's how I thought they were
that's
gonna lead up the video. So when he didn't get shot,
Hmm.
I expected him to start walking away and then like slip and fall on like the icy looking pavement that he was
Mhm.
walking on, and it for to be like an amnesia thing.
Yeah.
Uh, Not so much a what was he? Cheadle was an angel, I guess.
I, closest I can think. Or an alien.
A Martian.
Yes. Right. Obviously. That's what Annie would think anyway, right?
It's because Annie's racist.
I, overall, like I kind of like the idea of the juxtapositions and such of it. It's just, yeah, that premise it hurts my head, and like their lives are so different that, like, in the back of my mind goes like, how do you have any commonality with basically the two Jacks that we're presented with? Like their lives are so different, right? Like obviously Christmas movie can't really do this, but it'd be interesting, like, we saw him having an interest in baseball or something.
Mm.
And then okay, so now he's part of a baseball team, right? Like what got you into bowling all of a sudden?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Wait,
So like
wait,
the life paths were so incredibly different. There wasn't even like a minute form of commonality between the two.
no, not that I could see. I got a feeling that Kate's life had a bit more commonality. It sounded like she was still like a lawyer in the not family world. So at
Yeah,
least
but
there's
there's just
something
that.
there. But
I mean, I guess we kind of have to just allow the premise to be Otherwise, the film just can't happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is an apt analysis and a good thing to point out. Not that I anticipate that as a movie, I would say this was a good one per se. Um, if I did believe that, you would have definitely pointed out the big hole in it. That would have made me. Now, to kind of skip back, like him waking up and like acting weird and like not being put into a mental hospital. Like they could have used a throwaway line like is like you're just going through a midlife thing. But it gets weirder from there.
Yes.
Like there's so many weird like choices and twists in this film. I actually had no idea where it was going. And not in a good like red herring kind of way. You know, like there's not anything that's actually making sense or having any type of reason here.
Yeah.
Like there didn't seem to be any point to there being a like almost a fair situation.
Mhm.
It was only used as another way to reiterate that like uh that Kate Reynolds was the best person for Jack.
Mm.
But they had already said that in 10 other ways.
Yeah. Well, so it was that point in particular, like in the bowling alley there, that it really hammered home the lack of any commonality between the two worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw that as for single Jack, there's literally nothing wrong with that. Right? They already established that right at the beginning of the film.
Mm-hmm.
That so when I see that there, it's like, and he's not even questioning this idea of just having an affair. I'm like, oh no, there's literally nothing in common
Mm-hmm.
at all. Uh,
But I think we'll find that pretty much all our trouble with the film as a whole, like given even if we like allow for the premise,
mhm.
uh all the problems that we're gonna have with the film are all gonna come back to that lack of commonality.
Yeah. Yeah. I can think of a couple, and I think one of the interesting things with it is like they set up a couple of ways that they could have make it work even without having that commonality. Um, and I mean, one of them is said midlife crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That could have worked perfectly fine. Um, they could have had it not happen at Christmas and during his anniversary and Valentine's Day when it's all of these big things that are probably got 13 years of history that he's done something with here.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of did it with Annie where she was helping him out a little bit, but it was so sporadic that it didn't do anything. And that could have been an interesting way to help build that relationship. At least have them try to connect instead of all of a sudden, oh, he's back, right? Like she says near the end there. Um, that could have helped a little bit, at least
Well,
made some of it flow.
the thing is the format of the movie didn't help it out in those aspects too. It should have been more about his relationship to Annie and Kate and the baby,
Yeah.
whatever the baby's name was.
Josh.
Josh the baby.
Yes.
Um, it, it should have been more about the relationships between Jack and all them, but it seemed more about Jack internally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to the point where it didn't even seem like they were able to frame a moment or series of moments that was the realization that he had to come to, right?
Yeah.
It was just kind of like this guy being an on and off jerk, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, these babies, these kids are kind of cool, and I kind of love this woman,
Yeah.
and now complete 180.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just feeding into the common tropes where it is just like, oh, this is the event, and they flip.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like, but this thing, it did feel like a flip. It didn't feel like it was earned. Um,
well, I know the reason why too. It's
Hmm.
the thing I dislike the most about the film.
Yeah.
He goes on and off rapidly, changing back and forth from jerk to astonished to the beauty of this life that he's discovering, to jerk
Yeah.
to you're so beautiful, and like, how can you look at me like it's the first time in years, to I'm gonna have an affair with this lady.
Yeah.
Like, there's no gradual change there.
Mm.
It's it's legitimately just him going back and forth between like, I'm the biggest prick you've ever met, super
Yeah.
selfish, to nice guy, and there's no middle ground. You don't see an evolution, a path.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I'm realizing a couple of other little things that they could have done that could have helped with this. It's like, even right at the beginning when he gets when he gets the message from Kate,
Mm-hmm.
like, have him actually consider it, right? Just reminisce or something a bit more about their relationship. Um, that could have at least made it feel like, oh, there's something there and something that's being built on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, like, it sounded like, no, he just moved on and didn't care, or why not look her up when he got back from London? It's it's one of those things, like, I kind of understand the idea of, it's like, no, look at the value in having the family and that type of life, and there's other things you could be missing. But yeah, there's an execution problem there.
Honestly, it's hard for me to think of anything that like is like stand out great or redeeming about the film. Not to sound like a big jerk, like um honestly, Tia Leone carried it for me.
Yes.
Her acting was so phenomenal. Um, the anniversary scene
Mm,
um really framed it for me, because she actually seemed to be like that excited kid. I can't wait to see what's in store to me. To like actually devastated
yes.
that this person forgot, when it's typically like one of the biggest. They made it seem like to Otherworld Jack that it's the biggest event for him.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Uh, I think I agree. Tia Leone, she stole it. Right?
mhm.
She is. I think. I actually think she's the reason why I didn't find the movie that bad.
Yeah.
Once I get over that initial premise, because she always seemed believable. Like, she seemed confused by his actions, and, you know, calling him out on his BS, and actually showing that, no, she did have strong feelings for Jack. Like, she was always very good at that.
Mhm.
Um, so, and even when even in with the single Jack at the end, I still got those hints from her. Like, oh, if you need closure, it's closure. But there was just something about the way she said that, or something about the look that's like where you could almost tell she hadn't quite moved on, or there was still that feeling there.
Yeah.
Uh, so she does that very well. And yeah, I think a lot of that is what made the film enjoyable.
Yeah,
Premise aside.
I found that while watching it, just to enhance that, I felt that while watching it, I was distracted and not interested in the film outside of the interactions, like when Kate was on screen, or during the limited like teaching Jack how to be Jack from Annie.
Yeah.
And those are really the only scenes that I was super interested in. Other than that, it kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to watch a movie that was just about Cage, I'd probably say let's watch Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
We didn't even get like some of the crazy Cage acting choices.
And the couple we got didn't
fit.
Yeah.
Well, because all those like all the crazy Cage stuff was all just Jack being a jerk.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to just figure out where to really add with it.
It's one of
definitely
those.
Needed more Cage. But
yeah, like it needed more fun Cage.
Mm-hmm.
It needed more unbearable weight of massive talent Cage, and less like, I think they marketed this as like a comedy drama, but they should have went more comedy, more Christmas comedy.
Yes, lean into that a bit more.
Like, I'm not talking Tim Allen and the Santa Claus, but
just just lean into it a bit more. Like we have this, swapped places essentially storyline, and there's lots of shenanigans we can have from this. But all of the shenanigans that came from it were so.
Oh, you can't.
Such downers.
Oh no, you can't bowl. Oh no, you forgot the anniversary.
You're about to ruin this happily married man's life. Or you just ruined Christmas.
You know what I was hoping right off the bat. Like so there isn't a small change that could fix this movie.
No.
But what I was hoping off the bat, was the bell would be more significant, or that like they would have made it seem like the bell was the pass. So like he freaks out, comes across Cheadle, the guardian angel, gets handed the bell.
Yeah.
I mean, they had that moment where it was like, oh, thanks for the bell.
Yeah.
But I think that should have been more like, oh, Dad, you remembered. And it like being not that he fixed it, but that like his little freak out was somehow supernaturally covered by this bell.
Yes.
To give him some type of cloaking, and then like even Kate to be like, I can't believe you forgot the bell. Thanks for getting it, but like next time don't just bail.
Yes, that would have helped. 'Cause I mean, they kind of brought the bell back at the end, but it was so superficial. Like, because Annie rings the bell when he goes to get the salt, and he realizes, like, okay, well, whatever it was done, and that's the next time we hear the bell. So I mean, I feel like they tried to do that,
It was too
but
abstract.
yeah,
For this type of movie, like if for this type of movie, it's far too abstract. If
yeah,
it was something um, more artsy or more genre defining, if we were whispering Rosebud as we died, um, having even like the poor kid across the street ringing his bell would have some type of significance.
Mhm.
But this isn't the
Or
movie for it.
yeah, or even have the bell ring one other time, and have Cheadle show up. Just even if it's just as the giving guidance type thing, right? Just a little bit more. Yeah, this one.
I think one other thing that I would have liked to kind of get some more stability to the film is if so that the bell somewhere, a third of the way through the film or even halfway through the film rings, Cheadle shows up and Cheadle like says, "Dude, this is actually other you's life.
Yeah,
You're getting a glimpse into what could have been, but you're ruining this man's life right now."
yeah,
To put more weight and consequences to the choices that Jack is
mm,
making. Because it's
mm,
because of the what I felt was a lack of actual emotional attachment and growth during the film. His impassioned speech doesn't hit as hard when you know that that was no more than a dream.
mm. Again, the only reason the impassage speech at the end really hit home, like, I mean, obviously, there's just the tropes of that happening.
Mm.
Um, so there's two things that did it, and both involve Tia Lona. um, One, she tried to give basically the same speech at the beginning of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the bookend there. And she reacted to it well. I bought it because of her reactions, not because of the speech.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's
kudos
the
to
thing?
you.
Well, and like in the beginning, you even bought the entire circumstance in his reaction, but mostly because of her impassioned speech.
Yeah.
Uh, it's funny, like the premise is so fantastical to me, not because some guardian angel who pretended to like pull a gun on a store clerk. Um, well, I guess he technically did pull a gun, but he probably wouldn't have shot, given that he's guardian angel, unless guardian angels
Yeah.
can shoot up stores, which I don't think they can. Um, but and then him, I don't know, giving the most intense, vivid dream to Jack.
Mhm.
Um, that's less fantastical to me to go from Jack as the kind of guy that um, Kate would fall for and be that into. That could seemingly, and like we don't know his history, but it almost seems seemingly just turned into the biggest a-hole of all time.
Mhm.
Um, just because he wasn't with her.
Yeah.
Um,
again, it's that lack of commonality between the two Jacks, their lives. Like,
Oh, anyways, yeah. So that's the fantastical thing I don't believe about the film.
yeah,
Um, let's talk a little bit more about the commonality.
okay,
Some of the other things that I would have liked to see is so Annie and Josh, right?
yeah,
Um, we we don't really have um those names coming from anywhere. So there's
right,
nothing tying the kids to this other life either.
right.
Um, I I would be able to let that go, except for the lack of commonality in Cage's character at all.
Mhm,
And they could have used that to tie, like perhaps you could have a jerk moment where Jack calls his mom
mhm,
and says like makes up some BS reason why he can't visit for Christmas, and then Jack's dad goes, "Hey Annie, you can you bring me a beer?"
mhm. Yes.
Um, like something like that.
They could have done something like that. His or what is it, his friend Arnie could be another place where there could have been a point of commonality. Let's say it was a childhood friend,
Mm,
someone that they knew beforehand, right? Obviously, Kate's family is in New Jersey. I mean, it's her dad's tire shop there,
yeah.
right? So could have like there's no reason that there couldn't have been some sort of friendship there. At least something to give us some grounding in this new life.
Hmm.
Um, I do like the idea of having his mom's name be Annie or something like that. Um, that would be another just nice little touch.
Well, like
Uh,
something that small makes it that much more believable.
mhm,
Um, and actually, I think the best point of commonality would have been Arnie.
yeah.
Um, there was a lot of needless stuff in this film that could have been replaced with stuff related to Arnie or like Jack's family, um, or see some type of exposition as to how he became like such an a-hole.
Hmm.
Um, but I like this Arnie premise that
Yeah.
you came up. Like even if fundamentally Arnie wasn't any different and was part of a bowling league,
Hmm.
and be like, like have him try to reconnect.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it could have been having that little bit of point in commonality, so you're not confused by absolutely every person there in this new life.
Hmm.
Basically, having to convince everyone that you're not crazy or you know what's going on. Um, right? Even if he says things that are out of place with a friend, because there's still that 13-year difference.
Yeah.
At least they know that there was something there. You all of a sudden get that person's like, okay, what's going on with you? And I mean, again, Annie kind of does that, but she's not enough to be able to help him, right? If it was his friend, if it was a friend that he knew in both worlds, all of a sudden we can play with that. Oh, it's just a midlife crisis thing because we have someone giving us
A reference point.
an anchor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like the only thing that I get from the way the film is done, and it's un, it's unfortunate, is it makes it sound like the only reason he's not an a hole all the time in the family life is because he happened to be there when Ed was having a heart attack. And right.
Well, I mean, even then, like maybe I'm projecting.
Hmm.
But I don't buy Kate Reynolds as being the type of woman who would fall in love with an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't buy that she would be so impassioned to want to keep a jackass around.
Yeah.
So we can only buy that he became an a-hole overseas. It makes sense to me that he would the the man that Kate would fall in love with would give up everything or do anything to say deal with Big Ed, um, take pressure off of him and the business
Yeah.
for his health, to give up the things, um, to give up from himself to help others. To be happy with his wife who's doing pro bono lawyer work.
Yeah. And I think that they wanted to paint that that's how he what that's who he should have been as a person.
Mm.
But unfortunately, because of what we're presented with, we can't lean into that. We have to assume that something made him not be a dick instead of something caused him to be a dick. It's a problem in the presentation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, I guess the only thing is like, okay, with him, you know, trying to diffuse the situation with the gun is supposed to be showing that side of him, that there's a bit of compassionate side. And maybe that would have worked if he wasn't literally making his entire staff stay late Christmas Eve and now come in Christmas Day. Right? It's just bad juxtaposition in that way. Even if, he feigned being upset that they had to come in Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Well, it would have been so even like the result of that, the where are you had everyone come in for the emergency thing.
Mm.
And the have everyone come in tomorrow, like at the start. It wasn't even needed to show him being an a-hole. He could have just made them stay overtime on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then you just have it go like, I'm going out for Aspen, I'm flying out in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even have had to have the everybody coming in, and then it'd be like where were you? The driver came to pick you up. You missed your flight.
Yeah.
Like it was just a lot of like they painted him as such an a-hole with no redeeming factors that like even the Christmas miracle couldn't convince me that he wasn't.
Yeah. It just dawned on me, the most miraculous thing about that Christmas miracle is he's going to get fired the next day. Because I get the feeling that this whole merger thing and him trying to fix it was pretty important, and he just blew it off to stare at a box of things. I think
it would have, if it had a better structure and was about redemption, it would end up being one of those things like there wasn't anything that was perceived negative about the merger.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have him sliding like this is the way that they're getting out of bad press for releasing a I don't know what's something terrible that actually happened. Uh the African baby formula thing.
Mm.
Where where they shipped out the baby formula but didn't indicate that you have to make sure to use clean water.
Yeah.
Like terrible things like that. They didn't have him like this being part of covering something like that up. So we can't assume negativity about the merger.
No,
So
I think it was just supposed to be a see. This is how successful he is.
but the thing is, we didn't show him having consequences for his positive emotional choice that had real world consequences. We assume that he's going to get fired, but he didn't go, no, I won't do it, I quit. Or have it like, if you don't do this, I'm going to fire you. We didn't have anything like that. And him going, throwing it all away for that chance, right?
Yeah, there's nothing overt there. And as I said, yeah, because I mean, it didn't really dawn on me until we were discussing it.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like they made it seem so emergency. Like, okay, that could have been, again, how they could have done the real world consequences of him doing that. So, not really changing anything, just have it someone else calls the emergency meeting and he doesn't show up. And he goes, okay, and this is what's happening. And then he doesn't do it or something. I mean, another way they could have done the whole thing, like him throwing this away, it's like, okay, so she just told you she's going to Paris. She just said, yep, you know, if you're there, follow me. I mean, really, there's no reason he couldn't have gone to Aspen for the day and then be on the next flight to Paris.
Mm.
Like, it just is such a leap in that regards. Or, you know, heck, buy a plane, like, you know exactly which flight she's on.
Well,
you've got the money. Go buy a ticket.
Here's the
Do a
thing.
wedding singer.
He to get past security, he would have needed a ticket.
I don't think so.
You do in domestic Canadian flights.
Yeah. Did you notice something in the skyline?
No.
Oh. So someone forgot.
Oh. Oh. Was that not a thing back then?
It was a lot more lax.
Okay. 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 Well, I'm dumb.
So
Anyway.
I think that I do think that is a thing because like I remember when I was a kid flying out. So I'm pretty sure my parents were in there with me until I actually boarded the plane. So
Okay.
yeah.
I'm dumb. I'm fully admitting it. Hashtag not super smart.
So that would have been a good way to do it too. It's like, oh, you need to have a ticket. Well, looks like I'm going to Paris with you. Let's have a coffee.
I would have liked that more.
I think that would have shown more commitment.
Well, here's another thing. Like, so the consequences of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
These mergers and these plans go through layers and layers of bureaucracy, lawyers, contracts. There is no way that it would be good one moment on Christmas Eve and then fall apart for Christmas Day with oh no, they're actually going with these other people. That means that the deal was never a for sure thing.
Yeah.
It was never a solid plan. And like I don't buy Jack as allowing it to be that up in the air or leaving it to that much of a chance.
Yeah.
So
I would assume as much, but again, it's not like we actually get any anything showing that.
Yeah, so him, like, even though they're panicking in the boardroom on Christmas Day, I don't buy him not flying out to Aspen that moment so he can have coffee as being a deal breaker.
Yeah. No, if it's the day before you're announcing, sorry, if it's the day before you're announcing and you're announcing the day after Christmas, everything's already done.
Yeah.
Like, add that to the list of
Well, even like, well, I mean, that's lack of consulting, but
again, unless they actually had something shady happening.
well, the thing, if there was something shady to make it so the deal was negative, then the people involved with the negative deal wouldn't break it off at the last moment because they know that might unveil whatever negative thing that's occurring, right?
Yeah.
You know what I would have liked? Okay, I'll tell you what I liked.
All right.
It's not a little change. In fact, it's a massive change.
Right?
It is super duper massive change. I want this
Right.
movie, but the reverse.
Yes.
I want Happy Jack to go through his midlife crisis and have some like big thing where he like ruined Christmas and he let down the family and he goes, if we had money, this wouldn't be a problem. And then Don Cheadle, and now he's rich Jack without family and he has to learn that money doesn't buy happiness.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yes.
I want the exact opposite of this movie.
Or again, like where we referenced Christmas Carol. Give us snippets
Yeah.
throughout his life instead of all of this being in like 2 months. Because I have a hard time believing that that type of change happened in 2 months. But if we're getting like little snippets through the life, so we see, baby Annie, and then we see Annie in college, and Josh not just being a little baby, right? Give us the
Like glimpses
clip
of
show version of his life.
yeah, so Jerk Jack gets to experience past, present, and future.
Yes.
I'd like that too.
Yeah. Show us past with, them moving to Jersey because surprise, there's an Annie now. And then, the present being the age that we had here, and then a future of them being old together in the house. Or, rely on all those videotapes that were there or something. Give us some reason that he's actually getting into their life more than watching the one videotape of him singing.
Well, and even then, like that videotape, just to rehash something I said earlier, he was acknowledging him. He wasn't acknowledging the relationship or the love. Like Jack seems so Jack-centric in this that it also took away from any personal discoveries or Christmas miracles that affected him to make him realize the power of family or whatever. I didn't buy any of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So I'm trying to distinguish a little bit between the writing of the film and Cage's acting.
It's probably a good perspective for us to take.
Because I think they were trying to show with that a little bit more. Like, even if it was Jack centric, it was showing what, like, he was excited to be doing that. He was excited to be embarrassing himself for her,
Mm.
right? I mean, well, we all know how fantastic Cage's acting is. um,
I like Cage in a bunch of stuff, but not in this movie.
well, I mean,
He wants to take your face off.
off. But even though Cage can be very different in all of his roles, he's always Cage.
Well, I mean, like
Like,
it's you don't expect him to be doing some like hardcore Shakespearean to bees, oh my god, the bees, or not to bees, oh my god, the bees.
to bees or not the bees.
The I mean, the problem there is I feel that he tried to go with dramatic choices instead of comedic choices.
Yeah.
And if he had stuck with comedy Cage,
Yeah.
it would have landed a whole lot better and been a whole lot more believable.
Mm-hmm.
So who is Cash? Who is Don Cheadle? Was he a Christmas angel? Was he God? It wasn't Santa.
No, not Santa. It like all of my cultural knowledge and tropes make me go, "Oh, this must have been an angel."
Well, to have to
But
be
there
an
was
angel,
nothing there.
It couldn't have been a ghost.
No.
Because they didn't establish like the Christmas Carol, like this is my ex business partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's not God. Has to have been an angel then.
Yes.
Um,
There's just like nothing tying it to that.
it was just weird that. So his job then, as an angel, was to like it seemed like he was weighing the naughty and nice, like the moral failings of the people that he encountered.
See, but I'm not sure either, because if it was an angel, I'd expect it to be a little less coincidental than it felt.
Yeah.
If it was an angel, like, this wasn't his line when he, like, what wasn't his line? I want to say it was something akin to like, oh well, you kind of get what you wish for type sentiment. I know that's not what it was at all, but something along those lines. So it makes you go like, why are we doing this in the first place? Like, there was no hints of regret like there normally would be in other Christmas movies of this type. Like,
so yeah, you've awakened me to something here. And no, it's not what you think. So generally when it's like an angel thing, right?
yeah,
It's more of a like it's a teaching or a learning moment or like a karmic desserts thing that you grow through.
yeah, or an intervention, or yeah.
Yeah, so if Cage was a dick to him and then the conversation went to like, haha, I have everything I wanted, and then it went into just remember you asked for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he woke up trying to learn that lesson. But the fact that Cage in his own way showed some type of moral strength and conviction in a very positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And what got him set on the path of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Was him saying, "No, I have everything I could want."
Yeah. It was him trying to do the right thing across the board. It like I mean, it's not even monkey paw type
It's
play here. It's a literally, but why?
just why this movie just falls apart everywhere. That being said, I did like Cheadle. I always like Don Cheadle. Like he's
Yeah.
great actor. It would have been fun to see some like weird interaction between, say, like Annie and Cheadle.
Hmm.
I mean, you could have had that in our hypothetical middle bell sequence,
Yes.
and it would have been fun and it would have been adorable. But I think even if Cage had done his comedy acting,
Hmm.
I don't believe it would have saved the film. It would have just made it more cohesive.
I'd be happy with more cohesive. Like, and I
But
didn't hate the film. I just had to, put my, made sure my suspension of disbelief was about here. When it's one of those, like, again, I kind of get what they were trying to go for, but there's just so many holes. And I think someone watching it just 100% completely casually, yeah, probably would have just slipped by them that none of this makes any sense in any way, shape, or form.
well, it was about as accurate as Jack's bowling game.
Yeah. You know, it was. It feels like a Hallmark movie without the Hallmark saccharin.
Okay.
I think that might be why I'm giving it a little bit more credit around that, because unfortunately I've seen way too many Hallmark Christmas movies.
Hey, you know what? I don't mind it.
Yeah. But I think that could be part of it. But
Well, I mean, just to throw a little bit of shade, like the Hallmark movies tend to be like there isn't actually that much of a conflict. There's not actually that much that's going on. Nothing really happens in the film.
yeah, but I mean, so the general structure of the Hallmark film is, oh, this is my ex that I haven't seen for 13 years, and now I'm in this small town where my ex happens to be, and look, we're making cookies now.
And honestly, when I want to put something on during Christmas, that kind of drivel
Yeah,
is probably what I would put on.
yeah.
It's just, but at least those premises are believable.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can see the
Like some type of draw, some type of
I can see the attempt to put that formula into this film. I think is where I was going. But again, you don't have that saccharin, and you just there's not enough of a connecting premise and not enough of a connection between the two lives.
true.
And the Hallmark films, as cookie cutter as they are, tend to at least have that. There's that bit of a through line where you can see, okay, this is why I'm here, and well, I'm stuck here, but I can help because I'm a doctor, and you need someone because the doctor went on Christmas vacation. Like, I've seen stuff like that, right? So at least there's a connection between the life that they're leaving and the life that they're invariably going to be drawn to and stick to in the end.
I guess I mean, I just want to go back to my hometown and oh no, like the guy I had a crush on as a teenager now runs the cafe.
Yeah.
And oh no, we're making cookies now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm being very straightforward. Even some movies that shall not be named and other movies that shall not be discussed.
Mm.
I mean, it makes sense to me that Jack would only hit 4 of those 10 pins.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if we think about it as just a Christmas movie, so we have, from a trope standpoint, it has the pieces.
Yeah. So the pieces are there. I mean, I think even as a Christmas movie, I can only say he got 6 of the pins down. Like looking at those tropes, which is a shame because Die Hard, I think, knocks it out of the park better as a Christmas movie still, as we discussed last year. And the reason for that, again, it's just these little, some of the tendrils that we've talked about outside of the premise that could be there, showing that little bit of him still caring for her. Give that bit of a reason, make the, like, there's no reason he wasn't making a grand gesture at the end.
Mm-hmm.
His grand gesture shouldn't have been, hey, don't go on the plane. Here, it should have been, all right, I'm coming with you.
Yeah, I would have believed that more.
Yeah, I would have believed that more, and I think that would have fit the Christmas tropes better if it was Kate coming to him and having that impassioned speech and him not leaving, or if it flashed back to that point in time and now instead of him, oh, that would have been a cool way to do that.
Like a full second chance.
This should have been a full second chance. That would have fixed it.
I mean,
honestly, it would have fixed it a lot more to have it. Okay, so he's back on the flight to London, and now we know why he flew back the next day.
So it's not a glimpse into an alternative life; it's a glimpse into the life he will choose.
Yes. And I think that would have fit the Christmassy.
But to go back to the tropes, it's definitely stronger as a Christmas movie. I mean, we have grand gesture. We have a form of miracle. We have redemption. It even comes down to our buffoon dad who can't do anything correct.
Mm.
And those are like, I mean, every Christmas movie is about a dad who just fails at being a dad.
or a mom who forgets her son twice.
Devon's like, too real. Too real. Yeah, I definitely like not great as a movie. As a Christmas movie, considering Christmas movies are just a series of tropes.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even mind getting into an actual debate in the future about like, are Christmas movies real boy movies? And like, or are they just a series of tropes strung together with like, what is it there's only 10 or 3 stories that in existence or whatever?
Yeah, something like there's only like 10 different stories.
Yeah, 10 different stories, and the 10th one is a Christmas story.
Yeah.
There's only one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely more positive with the Christmas aspects of The Family Man, but it's half and half to me. It's actually it's saccharine.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just the tropes are there, but it feels almost like, yeah, said like they're implemented in the wrong way. Like his big gesture wasn't a big gesture. It was actually stopping her from doing anything. At least from the like us as an audience goes like, oh cool, you've given up this whole merger thing that is so important. But she doesn't know that gesture. She doesn't know this is a thing that's happening.
Yeah, like she doesn't know how wealthy he is. She doesn't
Yeah.
know that he's skipping out on the most important, I don't know,
Yeah.
stalking trip to Aspen that's ever occurred.
Yeah, like she doesn't know that there's actually, you know, something that he's giving up. So while us as an audience can see there's a big gesture, she doesn't see that. Again, she's just giving up things. So yeah, I can't even say that it actually has the big gesture.
It does on the face of it, but like we so you we've agreed to the exact same thing twice now. Like I agree to you now because it's about the emotional weight of the gesture. She doesn't understand the impact of it. So
yeah,
like an impassioned speech by someone that you haven't seen in 13 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in the real world, she would have been, no, you're crazy. I'm not giving you 5 minutes for a coffee. I'm getting on this plane because I have a life.
Yeah.
Should have watched The Color Out of Space.
Yeah. There's a bunch of films we could have watched. But this is the one we chose because we're starting off Cagemas with a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I definitely hope to see more Cage films on our plate.
Yeah.
This movie even like fares worse as a Cage film.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even full Cage.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's because like usually the characters that Cage plays make actual sense, and then he like embellishes. But in this case, maybe the characters just didn't make sense.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, I could see that. I'd play with that idea.
I don't know. All I know is this movie should have been the exact opposite of what it was. Or more Christmas Carol and less Wonderful Life.
Yeah. But we got fantastic acting from Tia Leone.
Actually, you know what? I kind of I mean, like I was always like a little bit biased against her. Because at least the way that they tend to cast her is like she's the attractive girl.
Yeah.
But dang, she knocked it out of the park here.
Yeah.
What was she in?
Deep Impact.
Oh, I remember that like one year where there was like there was Deep Impact, there was Armageddon, there was another one.
Yeah, there was. I cannot remember. Like, yep.
It's kind of like how there was like 3 movies like The Matrix. There was Matrix, Existence, and something else that came out all at the same time.
Flatliners? No.
No, Flatliners.
No. 13th Floor?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like
It was
that?
it was 13th Floor, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in Bad Boys.
Yeah.
She is in a lot less than I expected her to be in.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Oh, Spanglish though. I remember that being okay. All right,
Jurassic Park 3. Yeah.
All right. Yep.
I think she was great, and I didn't feel Annie was a Sharon.
Oh, Annie was great.
Yeah. So
And Baby Josh was best. I don't know. All right, Fiend.
All right, Bean.